let's get to the serious matters first. Obviously, the Joao Carvalho court case was up this week. The inquest into his death. Obviously, when he fought Charlie Ward back in April 2016, the inquest returned a verdict of misadventure. And I'll just read this out here. The legal definition of misadventure is an unintentional accident without any violation of law or criminal negligence. And then it said the inquest has also recommended the endorsement of a governing body for mixed martial arts in Ireland. So basically, I think that's what most people were kind of expecting, basically, unintentional accident. I kind of think that really says it all. We did a big podcast about it, Tony and myself, Andrew and Pete, where, we talked about kind of what had happened. And I think Pete did great reporting on it for SevereMMA at the time, with the, what happened backstage. And obviously Joe collapsed backstage and was taken away in an ambulance to the hospital and died. Obviously still very sad, but the inquests, I think most people were kind of, I'd say myself and you included, were kind of, kind of expecting this to be the end of it.
Well, obviously we weren't there to hear all the evidence or anything like that, but from what we have heard, I think that was the right decision. I think, as you said, it was the expected decision, but you never know with these things, and there is a lot of anti-MMA stuff going around, so you wouldn't have been too sure before that this was going to be the outcome, but I think this was the most likely outcome. I think what's his name, Shane Ross, the minister
Shane
for
Ross.
Was it Minister for Tourism, Sports, and something else? He's he made some comments saying that the association were dragging their feet, but it's actually that, he obviously isn't paying attention to the scene, because all the top clubs and nearly all the clubs in the country won't let their fighters fight on a show that doesn't have all these regulations in place, like a trauma room, doctors, ambulances, all this stuff, all the new stuff that the IMMA brought in after Carvalho's death. So I think that was a bit of he probably just wasn't included in the situation, and if he is included in the situation, he shouldn't be making comments like that. But I think that's a bit of the anti-MMA kind of bias in some people. They just don't like or understand the sport, so they just think they just don't like it, so they just come out with stuff like this. But
I think it's worse than that, to be honest. I thought it was one of the most disgusting things I've ever heard in my life. Shane Ross came out and was saying things like that, like with the changes that have been made to the MMA scene in Ireland, and he says that at the inquest of a guy who died fighting in MMA. Like this isn't just a political standpoint or something. This is, someone actually died and changes had to be made, and the changes were made. And he's coming out and acting like no changes were made, and he's blaming the people who've made the changes for changes not being made, when he is the one to blame for any dragging of the feet that has been happening. Him and Sport Ireland and the government exclusively. It's not, if it was the IMMA, we'd be on here saying it, and PT'd be writing articles, we'd have stuff up in SevereMMA if it was. And we've talked about it before, and we've talked about things they had to do, and but literally nobody in the world has talked about it more than what we have on SevereMMA. But this is totally different. I was at the event on Friday night, and I saw it, and I've seen it before. You've seen it at loads of events since then. Every fighter that was there was taken to the medical room afterwards, examined. A guy got choked out on the card. Immediately the medics were into the cage to look at him. He was fine within about 30 seconds, perfect, back on his feet. He was there to have his hand raised and everything. They were there checking all the guys going into the cage. All of them had the proper gloves. All of them had the footwear that were needed. All the referee, the judges were there for the whole night. Where was Shane Ross? That's what I want to know. Like, I was looking for him there. I couldn't see him. Has Shane Ross ever been to an MMA event to see that, to see for himself if they're dragging their feet?
Like, even if he had gone on to SevereMMA and any of the websites covering this, he would have seen that this is from May 2016. The IMMAA, they were called the IAPA at the time. They changed their name to the IMMAA since, but they were talking about how they've started the recognition process of establishing the national governing body, and the statement goes through why they can't implement it straight away, and basically the legal hoops they have to jump through first. And this guy should know that, he should know that it's not as simple as just, we want the body. You need 3 years of financial records, you need 3 years of showing that you're responsible and that you know what you're doing and that you're capable of doing this before the government will recognise you. So a quick 2-minute search, never mind being at a show or two, would have been sufficient in order to not make such an uninformed comment.
Yeah, if it was in another avenue of the government and he had made a complete lie like that, then that's what it is. If he had done that about something else, then people would be calling for his head. People would be calling for him to quit. You know, that's the fact of the matter. It's just people don't, as you said, people don't care about MMA. People don't know about MMA. They don't know the solution. And a lot of people might have heard what he said and believed him when it is complete and utter lies. He is the only one holding it up, and the government. You know, if it's the 3-year, you need to be a taxpayer for 3 years. The IMMA, they have to put tax records for 3 years.
Financial records as well.
Yeah, exactly. Before they can become recognised by Sport Ireland as a sport. What are they supposed to do? You know, build a time machine and go forward 3 years? That's
well, in fairness, like they didn't put any effort into building a time machine, so maybe he's right.
Exactly, yeah. But that's the kind of foolishness that he's talking about. Like, if they want to bypass that, fair enough. But he's the one that has to do that. Sport Ireland have to do that. The government have to do that. You know, John Kavanagh, Dino Wade, those guys, they can't do it. You know, they're doing what they can. They're showing up to all these shows, not letting shows go through. You know, pulling out fights if they don't.
They're doing all this off their own back as well. There's no money being given by the government. There's like this is all off their own back as well. So they should show a bit of respect at the very least, a bit of common decency, not to be making ill-informed comments that are putting down the efforts that have been going on for years now.
Yeah, it was. I thought it was absolutely disgraceful, and yeah,
it's just typical politicians, that really, isn't it?
It really is, yeah, it really is. But look, it's, you know, the death of Joao Carvalho was obviously very sad, but the outcome that's come from it and made Irish MMA a safer, better place. It really did. And you know, it's, if that one good thing has come from it, that, you know, that's a good thing to remember Joao Carvalho by, that, you know, that has actually happened. So it's, you know, it's a pity Shane Ross and people who are given, you know, a platform like that to express their views wouldn't come out with absolute complete lies. And I think fair play to John Kavanagh and the guys at the IMMA, and I believe the IMMAF as well, send out a press release, you know, totally refuting those claims. And I think they did it pretty quickly, and they needed to do it as well. And fair play to them for doing that. You know, and they certainly weren't dragging their heels in. So you know, I think Shane Ross needs to look up the facts before he speaks again on those kind of situations.